Welcome to Cohen in the City, and it's time to talk food. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We have a lot of time to spend in our house, in our kitchen, cooking, and I've got someone very special to join me today, Anne Vézina, live from Westmount, from her kitchen in Westmount. Hello, Anne.
Good morning, Mike.
Great to have you with us, and with Oxygen Publishing, Caroline Flower, you came out with a really exciting book. We see it right there in front of you, Food for Talk. It's an English and French version. You're right in your kitchen right now. Talk to me about this book. What's it all about?
Well, about 2 years ago, I had a bit of time and I wanted to start a sort of a home project to collect family recipes. And as I did that, I realized that the family recipes were mostly dessert, so I thought we can't have that. So I decided also to include my favorite go-to recipes, and I ended up with 75 recipes. So when I saw the size of, the project, if you wish, then I decided that it should evolve to a cookbook, because it was going to be a big job to write and take photographs and pull it all together. And I chose the title, Food for Talk, Recipes to Rave About, because really, anywhere you go, if you start a conversation by asking people what's their favorite dish or what's their specialty in the kitchen, right away the conversation is going to perk up. And you can ask an 8-year-old or somebody you just, barely met, and right away you're going to hear about interesting food experiences, childhood memories, or family traditions. So the selection of recipes is for everyday meals as well as a special occasion. But the theme, if you wish, or what made me select those recipes, was that I'm looking for recipes where a little touch can transform simple dish into something that's going to be memorable and that you'll want to talk about.
Now, you said that on your website, I haven't read the book, of course, but on the website you said that, quote unquote, you're not a professional cook, yet you've been cooking all your life.
That's right. So I'm the oldest daughter of a family of 5, so I learned the basics from my mom, who is a great cook. And so I watched her and helped her when I was, younger. Then when I was in my early 20s, I was a chief cook in a children's camp over the summer, and that helped me learn how to plan and cook for a large group. There were 70 kids in that summer camp. And then, of course, over the years, by having family and friends over, I learned how to put together a menu that's going to make sure you're not spending all your time in the kitchen, or that not everything else needs to go in the oven at different times, and that sort of thing. But I would say mostly my training is ongoing because I remain curious. So I have books and magazines. I'll take the cooking class or workshop if I travel. I'm asking questions to people and in restaurants. And I have my favorite, YouTube channels, of course. You're
in Westmount right now, but you also have lived in California. You also have a place in Brussels. How does that all work out?
Well, essentially, this is where my husband works, in San Diego up until a few months ago, and in Brussels. So his family is mostly in Brussels and my family is in Montreal. So I think now with COVID and everything, I think we're going to be spending 2 months in Brussels and 2 months in Montreal. But what's interesting is that while being in Brussels and having people over for dinner, so we were having sort of French and Belgian guests, at first I was a little leery about, serving the food that I serve here in Montreal, because I wasn't sure if they were going to like that. And then I thought, no, they're coming to our house. We're Canadians. They're going to eat what we eat. I think it's good. I'd like to offer it to them. And I did that, and surprisingly enough, it was a big hit. For example, I made I have a dish called salmon Montreal style, and it's made with Montreal steak spice. Like, who would have known that steak spice would be so good on a fish? But it was really funny to see my French friends going, oh, wow, it is seasoned perfectly. What have you done? And then me showing the bottle. So that was a lot of fun.
What's the balance? You have 75 recipes. How do they break down in terms of appetizers, main courses, sides, desserts? How does it work?
It's pretty even between desserts, open-faced sandwiches, salads that could be a side or a main dish, soups, cold, warm, casseroles, pasta dish. So there's about 6 to 8 in each category, something like that. And there are 20 desserts, whether they're squares, cakes, creams, pies. And there's a section on holiday meals. So the turkey, the stuffing, plum pudding, croton, and tourtière are all featured in there.
Now, I'm purposely doing this interview with you now, and Caroline was very smart to send this over the holidays because we're home, we're locked down, nothing's open for the next 2 weeks. Restaurants are takeout and delivery. This is the perfect time for people to get a book like yours and to cook and to even experiment, I suppose.
That's right. I think it's a perfect time. Plus, the cover of the book with the butternut squash soup is really something that you would want to eat in a cold day. But this confinement due to COVID actually worked out in my favor in the spring because I needed people to test my recipes before I finalized the manuscript. And of course, I don't have a team of testers around me. So I reached out to my friends and family who were more than eager to try something new to cook and eat. And in a period of 3 weeks, I had about over 50 people testing recipes, whether they were in Montreal, Toronto, Calgary, Vancouver, San Diego, or Brussels. And it was so much fun to have all the comments from everyone. And even in a period of a couple of days, I had 4 people all doing the date squares.
And you've also done the book, a complete book in English and in French, the exact version.
That's right. So I have it here. In French, it's called Les Recettes Qui Font Jaser. And jaser is a funny word. It's a very Quebec word. Like in France, this means more gossipy, not so nice gossip. But Les Recettes Qui Font Jaser, because it triggers conversation and it's about recipes that you want to talk about. So yes, I wrote both books at the same time. And writing in one language and then in the second language also helped me double check and make sure, it gave me ideas. And so I made, I think, each version better as a result. But the whole process of writing recipe really, I realized very quickly that I needed to standardize the style of writing, because as you can imagine, I had recipes coming from a whole bunch of places. Sometimes they were just a list of ingredients with the oven temperature. And I had to really sit down and make an easy to follow recipe. But I didn't have the technical terms, culinary terms that one would need to write a proper recipe. So I reached out to Diana Bruno, who's a food editor, also living here in Westmount, whom I didn't know because I had her book, Le Lexique Français-Anglais de la Cuisine et la Restauration, which she developed for the Institut de Tourisme et Hôtellerie here in Montreal. And I was, flipping through the book just about every minute. And so I decided to give her a call, and she agreed to be the editor for the technical side of the recipes. And we worked very closely together, and it was a really, really fun time. I learned a lot from her. And so it has her seal of approval on the technical terms. So that was great.
So it's a very pretty coffee table book, and you've got some other stuff on the table. This is some of your swag, I guess, that you're selling. What's that?
Yeah, this is a pure linen apron. We also have tea towels. It's available in a variety of colors. So we decided both that with the French or English label, it makes a beautiful package, given the apron and the cookbook together. And if you go on my website, vézina.com, there's a page called Boutique where you could select your apron, the color, or tea towels. And those are made here in Quebec by a woman called France Quirillon, and her boutique is called Le Lin Quotidien. And she makes them, she makes them one by one. So it's not a big factory. It's very much a, artisanal approach, and it's just lovely.
So where's the book available? How can people get a copy? And people could be watching this video from all over the world. So
Yes. So if you go on my website, vézina.com, you can buy the book there, which probably will take you to Amazon. So that's available everywhere. Or if you'd like to have a signed copy of my special edition cookbook, you can write me an email. The email is also on the website, but the email is recipes to rave about in one word @gmail.com. And then you can send me a message and I'll be happy to put your order in for the special collection. We're already in our 3rd print run, so we're pretty pleased.
that's amazing. Well, I wish you the best of luck. Happy cooking, and stay safe during the pandemic.
Thank you so much, Mike.
All right, it's been a pleasure having Anne Vézina with us, and get a copy of her book very soon.